innovation and problem solving take time.
Mm-hmm.
So to just think that you're going to walk into a conference room and in an hour, divergently and then convergently solve the problem and then start implementing and integrating how we're going to do it all at the same time, that is a recipe usually for arguments of parties in the room. We all learn best by doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the apprentice model, which is I do, you watch, we do, you do, I watch and coach.
Yeah.
Everybody learns best that way. That's not news. And
Yeah.
so that's what we designed our model around.
Welcome to the Spotlight Podcast. My name's Tim Branyan, and big shout out to Vision Studio for hosting this and making this easy for us. Just hit the easy button, right? They got all the lighting, and I know the audience can't see the background. I always like to just quick talk about how cool this is. They roll this thing up, and lights, camera, action, we're ready to go, and then we just have a conversation.
Yeah,
they publish that conversation.
It's quite
for
impressive.
Us. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. Our guest today is Ron Brumbarger. He's a seasoned entrepreneur, educator, friend. An innovative leader with decades of experience building companies and developing people, and those people are entrepreneurs. So I'd love to just dive in. You know, I know you. We've been sort of pending an in-person coffee. It hadn't worked out. So again, thank you for being here. But
pleasure.
Tell the audience a little bit about your background. You know, sort of where it started, what you've been doing, and what you're doing now.
Well, I'm a Hoosier boy from Frankfurt. Went to Ball State. I won't go back too far. My wife, Cindy's the smartest woman I know. She married me. We're coming up on 33 or 4 years this summer.
Congrats.
Thank you. Started a technology firm, Bitwise Solutions, back in 1992. And I sold that in 2018, so about 25 years or so. In that window, we built somewhere around 3,000 websites or projects for different businesses around the world. After 25 years, that's enough. It's kind of like Forrest Gump. I'm done. You know, finished.
I'm
leaving. I think I'm done. But I started Apprentice University 5 years before exiting Bitwise because we couldn't find people. And wrote a book about the experience of trying to find people. You can find it on Amazon.
What's the book?
Title is You're Always Being Interviewed.
I like that.
And started Apprentice University to grow talent because it was just not going to happen with the traditional path. And so when I exited Bitwise and focused my work on Apprentice University for the following 5 years or 6 years, that was really rewarding work, getting to work with young adults and shaping them from a pile of clay, dry clay, maybe is a good way to phrase it, into something that can contribute to our society. So I think in total we served 225 or so students over the 11 years that I ran that. I exited that 3 years ago this summer, and I've been working on creating a new business using my understanding and appreciation for the apprentice model of learning. And when we say apprentice, from our domain, my domain, it's not skilled trades. It's the work that you're doing here, what these guys are doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's absolutely no reason that apprenticeships can't be applied to knowledge-based careers of the future.
Right.
So that's what we were doing at Apprentice. And after I exited Apprentice University, I started homegrown apprenticeships, which is to take that experience to rural communities throughout the country and help them launch a local, bespoke, organic, I don't know how many more adjectives to go, I promise, apprenticeship program that serves their community. So been working on that. It's a hard sell because you got to get a lot of people to buy in.
Right.
So I'm working on that, and I've also started an innovation business, an innovation as a service business, almost a year ago. And that's really exciting and fun and hard, and that's my passion.
Love that. Let's talk about, so what were the characteristics that you said? Very entrepreneurial to be where you were and see, gaps. I'm curious what those gaps were, what those failing points were with personnel that sort of drove you to build your own educational system, right? To get the talent that you were looking for.
Yeah, well, Tim, I make $2.40 if you buy my book, and I can answer all those questions in there. So go get it on Amazon. No, seriously, the gap was that We were a small firm. We grew it to right at 30 people. Our high watermark revenue was about 3 million, which for a web development firm at the time, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good sized group. But our challenge was that we couldn't find people that were what I would say motivated and curious to learn.
Mm.
We had many, but not as many as we needed, and we would try to just constant search for talent, and we just got frustrated. And my leadership team said, "Look, we're not going to interview anybody unless they have at least 3 years experience anymore. We're not going to talk about it."
Yeah.
Well, you get past 3 years and we can't afford them anymore because now they're going to the bigger companies, the more national firms, and we couldn't compete. So it was a real challenge. So the gap was they weren't ready. They just weren't ready. They might have an inkling or sprinkling rather of some technical skills, but the creative problem solving and critical thinking skills were simply void. And that's why I decided if we're going to thrive as an organization, then I should overcorrect and start Apprentice University.
I love that. And
It's horrible overcorrection. I don't recommend it, by the way. It was far, far, far harder than I ever fathomed as a business to run.
I'd like to add, so a very innovative approach, right? I'm having trouble with talent. Here's what's going on. I'm going to produce my own through this process. Walk me through just like, what are the ingredients, like for the entrepreneurs listening, what were the steps for innovation, right? Or what was your thought process like during that? I think, explaining that is helpful.
Yeah, sure. So we knew for certain, we had a lot of facts about what was missing. So we knew that we needed to teach critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, innovation skills, and of course, all the technical side, programming and accounting and project management and Microsoft Office, all the block and tackle kinds of stuff we needed to teach also. So we knew that we had to have both because our shortage was not just programmers, which if you think about most tech firms, that's generally what you hear. We're short of programmers, or it's been the historical shortage. Our shortage was across the board. We needed people in every role we could fathom. In 2012, 2012. Sorry, I get my dates mixed up a minute. We walked away from $1 million in business because we couldn't deliver the work. We're only $3 million firm. We walked away from $1 million in business, which is a painful thing to do. So the process was we got to figure out a better way to do this, and so I set about innovating around starting Apprentice University. We all learn best by doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask anyone, would you rather have lab or lecture? If they say lecture, they're lying, or I don't know what's wrong with them. Something's wrong with them versus lab. So we all learn best by doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the apprentice model, which is I do, you watch, we do, you do, I watch and coach. Yeah. Everybody learns best that way. That's not news. And so that's what we designed our model around.
I love that. And I've got a prior military background before I got into entrepreneurship.
Right,
and
right.
That's very similar. So,
absolutely.
If you're going to learn how to do this objective, let's just say throw a grenade. We called it death by PowerPoint first, right? You go through all the nomenclature and then you physically handle the actual device, and it's a training device where you're doing it with a coach.
Sure.
Right? They're quality assuring your ability to do it while they're seeing with you.
Absolutely.
And then the third step is doing it, on your own. You're still being sort of chaperoned to do it, but they're quality assuring like what you've retained in that process. And then if you fail, you go back to step 1 or 2, whichever you failed.
Or you die.
Yeah, or you lose an arm. And
you don't do that twice.
Right. That's why they use the firework ones now. They don't use the real grenades. I think they're little M80s or something. Little pow. Just lose a fingernail, not a whole arm. So
yeah, that's better.
De-risking, right?
Yeah.
They've learned, they've adapted, they've innovated.
Sure.
In the military.
Sure.
But yeah, so that process was, I think that's why I did so well in military schooling. Never failed anything, just excelled because of exactly what you're saying. It was very much, hey, come with me through every way that you could possibly learn this. We're going to walk you through those steps.
Right. Absolutely.
And then the hands-on stuff, to your point, it's
it's how we learn best.
Yep.
That's how we learn best.
Yeah.
I have a quick analogy. So Joseph, the father of Jesus, was a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
and Jesus became a carpenter. So I asked people, where do you think Jesus learned carpentry? Bethlehem, you? What do you think? Where do you think he learned carpentry? Since his dad was a carpenter.
Well, it's from
his dad.
Yeah, directly from the.
Yeah. So then the second question is, since Jesus was part man, do you think he ever hit his thumb with a hammer?
Probably.
What did he say?
Oh. Shucks.
Dirt.
Oh, yeah. Something
Anyway.
holy.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to digress.
No, that's good. So I think when we talk about innovation, we talk about, I think that's probably been your story as you've been teaching, right? You're interfacing with students that need help figuring out how to solve problems. I guess I want to dive into that. What's the process to seeing a problem and discovering a solution?
Yeah. So there are several steps to that. The first is around having keen observation skills, and what I call problem-finding skills. So we'll substitute problem and opportunity interchangeably for sake of discussion. But having problem-finding skills that you see things and you think, I can envision a better way. I could invest in this a little bit and have a better way. I call those ideas worthy of pursuit. I can solve this. I can do something different that would help fix this problem down the road. So problem finding is first and foremost. And by the way, once you're trained in that, it is so fatiguing because everywhere you look,
you're like,
I could solve that. I could solve this. I could solve that. So problem finding is kind of where it begins. And then from there, there's a methodical approach, different processes that I use to step through to generate novel concepts, novel solutions to whatever the challenge at hand is. So that's the approach to take. How not to do it, excuse me, how not to do it is say, hey, Tim, I got this problem. Let's go brainstorm for an hour in a conference room. And we just get people together and we start throwing out ideas. And you've done this. You've been here, I'm sure. We start throwing out ideas, and surely someone in there, probably within the first 3 minutes, will say, yeah, we've tried that.
Right.
Well, that's not okay. We want to go Bobby Knight on that person and throw a chair at him. That's not an okay thing to say, or no one will ever buy that. You hear these negative tones, or we start saying, well, we could do this, and then here's how we'll roll it out. We get right into implementation. And there's a quote that is quite fitting. It's allegedly attributed to Thomas Edison, although there's no particular evidence that he said it, which was, I didn't fail making a light bulb 999 times. I learned how not to make a light bulb 999 times. Now, that's the example that we use. But the point is, innovation and problem solving take time. So to just think that you're going to walk into a conference room and in an hour, divergently and then convergently solve the problem and then start implementing and integrating how we're going to do it all at the same time, that is a recipe usually for arguments of parties in the room. And you see it all the time. People get frustrated. Nothing comes out of it. We just did this. But there's a methodology to it that is tested. It's time tested. It's been in use around the world for many years. That's what I use.
That's awesome. What would you say to those folks that are sitting on ideas that maybe lack belief or are smothered in fear?
Great question. So I like the term, and I have a motivation, it's a lowercase m, motivational talk that I use called creating a culture of courageous curiosity. Sorry, I always forget all the words.
I like that. Creating a culture of creative curiosity.
Creative curiosity. So if somebody's got an idea, you got this thought that you're working on, the first thing I would do is I'd probably grab a business model canvas. You can fill it out without much training and just sketch down ideas. There's no grade for penmanship. There's no grade for completeness. And you can throw it away and start over if you need to. Just capture those ideas and then start thinking about what is the what is the minimally viable solution I can create to test my idea?
Mhm.
Even if it's made out of cardboard. Say you have a new idea for a brake light on your car, something different. So what if you make it out of LED strip from your bedroom and it's cardboard duct tape to your trunk or something? Who cares? That's not the point. You're testing the idea.
Mhm.
But in there, you're going to fail a bunch of times and you're going to learn. Most of the time, you're going to learn. So somebody has an idea. My suggestion is be curious, learn, study, and learn. Be insatiably hungry to learn
Mm.
is the key.
I love
You've
that.
met people that aren't.
Yeah. I
They're
meet a
not.
lot of folks that maybe lack. So oftentimes with the SBDC, people don't sign themselves up or apply because they lack belief, or they fear that they're not enough, or they fear that they can't be at the table or be an entrepreneur. They don't meet the criteria for whatever reason. There's all these different opinions that maybe some folks have, and that they fail to even go to the website and hit submit because of fear and
Right,
disbelief.
right.
So the ones that do make it through that, I salute them immediately, even if the idea is wildly not refined yet. It's like, hey,
So what?
you submitted it. You
So
came
what?
into a meeting.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're out exploring the entrepreneurial ecosystem, like my guy or my gal, whoever it is.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
because that's the first obstacle, the first challenge, just getting in the game. The second challenge of belief, right? Oftentimes the folks that we see is that they have an idea, they kind of believe in it. They need to fully believe in it. But I think that happens with my next question is, how does somebody make a product or a service that's so good people are sort of silly to say no to it? What's that?
Great
What's
question.
that look like?
Begins with empathy.
Mm.
Empathy is a word that is taken on some new meanings in recent years, but for the purpose of this conversation, it's to genuinely understand the problem for the person for whom you're solving the solution or creating a product. And to get there, that person has to trust you. You and I are friends, and if you had a problem going on, or I had a problem going on, we have implied trust already because we know one another.
Right.
But if I didn't know you, if I just came to you and said, I'm solving this problem that I'm pretty sure you have.
Mm.
Exactly. What's the response?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Goodbye. So trust then begats the ability to actually understand and define the problem that you're trying to solve for the person.
Mm.
And then that informs you and you learn, which gives you more trust and more information about the problem you're trying to solve. So it starts in the very beginning with trust. To build trust, how do you get there? How do you get to trust? I believe, and I'll shameless plug here, I believe a class that I teach, a master class that I teach, is around active listening and artful questions.
Mm.
How do you practice presence when you're with someone? Like we are now, we're very intent.
Yeah.
And we're going to be a little fatigued after 30, 40 minutes of our talk here because we need a break. But how do you practice presence? How do you actively listen? How do you remember the color of the person's eyes with whom you're speaking?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
That's cool.
And then how do you ask artful questions? Not yes, no. How do you ask questions, excuse me, that encourage the dialogue to continue?
Mm.
And you can't have empathy without trust, and you don't get trust without active listening and artful questions. That's where it begins. So if somebody has an idea, understand what active listening and presence is. Not flipping through my phone while we're sitting here. I'm not getting text messages. I'm ignoring those little micro interruptions that are going on.
Right here.
Yeah, and we're wholly focused on the moment at hand. Yeah. And then you can gain that empathy. And that is an iterative process. Don't expect a one and done. It's not a first, every pitch is not for a home run.
Mm.
Be happy with singles and doubles and just learn a little at a time.
Yeah, I love that because at its root, it's I value you as a person.
Yes.
It's required. It's like if I show up to a networking event, there's 300 people there, but I have a moment in time with an individual that's an entrepreneur. There's something great about that person. And if you show up with that philosophy, when you are in tune with them, you're listening because at the root, you value what what that person has done or what they have going on. It's also curiosity sort of mixed in that. It's value, sort of aggressive curiosity with the intent to serve. I think creates massive friendship.
It does.
And like relation.
Absolutely.
And, personally, one of my goals this year is, it's called MAFHAF, MAFHAF, make a friend, help a friend.
Nice. I like it.
And try to keep it as simple as possible. It's just like everywhere I go before I go into the meeting or the room, it's like, okay, what's the objective here? Make a friend. I can do that. I've sort of figured out how to, and it's genuine. I deeply do care about what people have going on because I get excited about connecting dots.
Yeah.
It just so happens to be my job.
Yeah.
Praise God. Like, it's a cool thing.
Sure.
But make a friend, help a friend, MAFHAF. I heard that there's a guy on Instagram that was talking about that. I wish I could think of his name right now to give him credit, but it was MAFHAF. And that philosophy that you're sharing, the ability to show up valuing people wherever you go enough to empathetically listen with the intent to serve is going to create that synergy, I think, and that trust factor to go build things or to go solve, internal problems that maybe you have. Or,
absolutely.
But if your intent is to serve first, right? I think that
changes the
it's
world.
building. I mean, you're building right there in that moment. Things are catalytically going to happen, and you're doing good, which is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun thought.
Quick side note: I ran this class I mentioned in late November in Indy, and we had a dozen participants, and I was a participant too. I, more than anybody else there, needed the training. And in the preparation for it, I found myself thinking, I am terrible at this. I'm not even an F. I'm like a J. I'm not even on the radar about what this means. And since that class that we did, I've had a couple other people that were in it too, text me or meet with me, what have you, and say, my conversations are just different. And I just had a breakfast meeting this morning with a guy I met last week at a networking thing. And we both, he was not in my class. And he texted me, said, "Those are really refreshing conversation." I listened. I wasn't really engaged I spoke a little, but mostly listened. But it changes how you have conversations. And my thesis is this, that as long as we have these annoying things laying around, telephones or phones, we don't call them tele anymore, I guess. As long as we have our annoying phone around these days, and that we view interactions with others as a transaction or a drive-through, you go to many drive-thrus, there's not even any eye contact anymore, right? It's just annoying. As long as we do that, the epidemic of loneliness is only going to increase.
Right.
If we want to get rid of that, if we want to have genuine, authentic relationships, we'll stop. We'll have a conversation. A conversation that you're having is a conversation worth having. Make it meaningful. If you're going to invest.
Yeah, I totally agree.
We're way off topic of entrepreneurship, but
this matters.
It's a pet peeve.
This matters to entrepreneurship. I think it's right now, if an entrepreneur or a leader takes what we just talked about really seriously, they're going to have an unfair advantage to those that aren't even presently thinking about how powerful it is to just be in the moment with someone with empathy.
Yeah.
And like the objective to serve and help and create synergy.
Yes.
Those are rare people, right?
So let's do a quick example.
Right.
Hands-on. Apprentice model, right? So we've been demonstrating active listening and artful questions here for the last few minutes. What if I walked in and you just asked me a question and I went, "That's not how you do this."
Sabotage the relationship.
So not listening, not responding, but what's your reaction going to be?
Feeling of disrespect, feeling of lesser than, and closed offness.
Yeah. And
probably right away.
And that podcast is not going to air.
No.
You're booking another one for the same date. That one's going in the trash.
Right.
So And I use that as an extreme example, but I've personally witnessed it multiple times. People who think, I don't need your advice. I don't need your help. And that's not okay. That's not how to treat people. But I've witnessed that. I've witnessed the head shaking. I've witnessed the arms folding, the nose up, or all the above. And if you want to be an entrepreneur and you walk into a room like that, seasoned entrepreneurs are going to distance themselves from you very, very quickly.
Right.
Because if you don't have a humble spirit, you can't learn.
Sure.
If you walk in with hubris and arrogance, there's no learning happening.
Right.
I already know how to handle a grenade. What are you going to teach me?
Well, if your
Right?
cup's full, there can be nothing added to it.
Absolutely.
That was one of the first things they would say when you go to the range. You know, some guys had shot weapons before and, you know, had experience with hunting and such. A lot of times they show up to the range with a level of arrogance. To your point, entrepreneurs can do the same thing. And
Sure.
maybe have hit a certain level, or they've been to that conference before, or something of that sort. But showing up with an empty glass is a wise thing, because the philosophy, my dad shared this, is his quote. I don't know where he got it from, but it was, every man I meet is in some way my superior in which I can learn from him.
Absolutely.
I don't know where that originates. I'd love to give, but I heard it first from my dad, and it's just profound. It stuck with me. I think I was 10 or 11 years old. I still remember the potence of that, because he broke it down further and was like talking about the janitor and the CEO and the homeless guy down the road, or the guy at the gas station clerk, all in between. If you listen and you're available, you can glean.
Right.
There's value everywhere.
Right.
Like we're all you know, purposely and wonderfully made. And if you
Absolutely.
show up that way, you'll even change the way you act in traffic. You know, if you,
As hard as it may be.
as hard as it is at
As
times,
hard
this
as
has
it may
helped me.
be. Yeah.
Like if we knew everyone and loved like if we truly like took a second to be like, okay, that's somebody's sister, somebody's mom, somebody's grandma.
Yeah.
If we took a second to be present in that,
Right. Right.
we'd see way less middle fingers in the highway, right?
Yeah.
Like or frustrated fists and you know, just altercations in general, because it's that we're present, we're not distracted, we're realizing.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to the idea of curiosity and learning. You know, there's an adage that I use in mentoring, and that is, when one teaches, two learn.
Yeah.
And I love mentoring, and I tell anyone with whom I get to be a mentor, if you and I were in that relationship, I would say, Tim, first I need you to understand this is wholly, without any other elements, about me, because I get to learn at your expense. And when I'm learning, I'm going to give it back to you, and that relationship's going to flourish. But this is wholly selfish, because I want to learn.
Yeah.
Now, that's not necessarily the purest mindset of mentoring, obviously, but when one teaches to learn, and if I have an insatiable appetite to learn, I'm going to give that away.
Right.
Why wouldn't I give that away?
That is a good question. Why some people don't. Some people maybe like to hold the knowledge. They have a scarcity mentality, I think.
Yes.
So, you know, personally, I think some of the most successful people I've met are open books. They give it away. You know, we go all the way back to like Bob Vila, right? Like if you could pick the person, and this goes into marketing, this goes into like entrepreneur, you know, philosophy, mentality. I hope this helps some of the folks, but like Bob Vila, for those that don't know who he was like the GOAT of craftsmanship,
the OG,
the OG of like
home construction,
home building, like
yeah.
And he would give it away. He gave everything away. You could watch TV and he would tell you how to put in a pipe, or how to fix your furnace, or how to expertly install a floor, or fill in the blank. The dude could do it all. And what you as an entrepreneur can learn from that is that he wasn't scared to give it away. Right. That's what created his authority. That's what created his continuation, like his branding. His If you could hire Bob to do your work, that's who you're going to.
Sure.
Because he's like the teacher with the answers.
Sure. Absolutely.
So for those that like have this scarcity mindset, I think that detracts you from success. I think some of the most successful people take their knowledge, take their thing, and they give it away. It's like, hey, by the way, this is exactly how you build a website. Oh, by the way, here's how you can make a video. Oh, by the way, here's how you can use this email tactic.
Absolutely.
Then it's like, oh, you know, now you become an authority, but there's just something, and you build trust. Again, it goes back to building massive trust and, and create community around that. And it's just been interesting to sort of, I've been studying entrepreneurs for a long time.
Right.
Very much new to the university, right? Came from the military background, but I've been studying just people and sort of gleaning what is success.
Right.
That definition's changed over the years, but I've been gleaning the guys that I think do the most, that are fulfilled the most, that end up making the most, give away the most.
Yeah.
And it's polar opposite. You know?
Yeah. Would it be interesting if an entrepreneur's currency was lives affected versus dollars?
That'd be a cool analytical dashboard to see, right?
You and the
see the ripples.
Yeah. I had a really good fortune of leading a group in November in Ethiopia for 8 days. And I was asked to help. This team had grown from 5 to 20 in 1 year.
Wow.
So it's big. That's a big jump. That's hard. Yeah. And they were taking on Bible translation projects in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Sudan. And they were going from 4 to 21 projects in a year, which is a gargantuan jump.
Logistically, yeah.
Anyway, the challenge that they had was because of the growth, they were still operating in a world without what we would call agency here. And so agency is a relatively new term to our vernacular. You know, as long as you're within the cone of your responsibilities, you should be making those decisions and operating in there. And you don't have to come back to me as your boss or the CEO or whomever for approval. Well, that mindset and word doesn't exist in Amharic in Ethiopia.
Oh, interesting.
It doesn't exist in Swahili in Kenya, and I don't know about Sudan, but it doesn't exist. And if you think about it, it's a non-tribal way of thinking. Well, they have tribal, they're developing nations, okay? So I had the opportunity to go teach agency. And so the theme of my week-long workshop with these people was see something, start something. Not say something, not do something, start, meaning it's the first step of many that you're going to use. So I built out this week. While I was on transit, I had spent a week in Vienna on the way there just to acclimate and see some friends. And I emailed off all the documents to be printed. And for 2 nights, I was sleepless. I thought, I've over-engineered this. I've made it too Americanized, too American entrepreneurial, too technical. I was worried. I was really worried. But Tim, I got to tell you, I prayed about it a lot. I went in with a mindset of I have to learn from these guys. Mm-hmm. My job is to learn. As long as I can stay in that seat and not be the teacher, be the student from them, we should be okay. It's hard because there was one of me and 21 of them. But when we went through the material, I was schooled on agency. I wrote a little article about it. I have never published it, but I wrote it just for me. I was schooled on agency. So I was able to give away what I know and think and how to solve problems and how to have observation skills and how to operate within your cone of responsibility and do so with integrity, yet reporting up to your team as needed. And I walked out having learned multifold more than they did. It was really a good time.
Yeah.
But they got agency. The appetite and the hunger that they exhibited to do this was astounding and refreshing. Here in Fat, Dumb, and Happy America, we don't have to worry about that, but they cling to that kind of thinking. And it's been 2 months since I left there. They tell me they're using the material on a weekly basis during their meetings. They've asked me to come back as soon as possible and do a new round.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
But the hope is, the vision of this is give it away. How do you give away what you know? And what better cause than to help people have Bibles in their native language or have a church in their community that's never had one.
Right.
that's the motivation. So I'm launching that work here pretty soon. It's not an inexpensive venture. I didn't get paid to go, but they had a grant to help cover most of my cost. But I was in and out for my time, my travel, not for my time, but my travel expenses to get there and back, and 20 of them to be at this retreat center for $5,000.
It's awesome.
So I'm going to do a little GoFundMe. This is my selfish plug here,
No,
by the way.
please,
Do a
man.
little GoFundMe. Do a little GoFundMe
Please.
campaign here sometime soon to hopefully put at least $5,000 to cover the cost of the thing. And if it puts another few $1,000 in their pocket
right
to further their work, then why not?
My hope is that there are listeners that want to fuel a good engine. And if they are,
it's a good model. Yeah,
then they get to,
metaphor.
Perpetuate something that can go out and do good in the world. There's folks that have been blessed with much that I think are always looking for opportunities to use those treasures for good.
Yeah.
And, so when I hope, that's my hope, right? Is that somebody sees this and is like, you know what, I want to connect with Ron and figure out, more, maybe they need more details. They can reach you. How does somebody reach you, by the way? What's the most effective way that somebody could get in contact with?
Text or email. Phone call, email is fine. My email is ron@brumbarger.com. Super hard.
Yeah.
Can you throw captions in there? And my phone's 317-490-4376, either one.
Yeah.
If you can't find me, something's wrong. I'm on LinkedIn.
You're on Google. Google me.
Yeah, you can't find me. One final thing about the Ethiopia thing, if I could.
No, please.
So it's the day before. It's the last full day. So we started on Monday. We ended Saturday at noon. They have a daily tea break at 10:30, which to American entrepreneurs is kind of like, guys, we've got so much to do. A 30-minute tea break. How about you just go get a cup and come back? No. So it's Friday tea break, 10:30, 10:45. And one of the guys is a pastor, and I didn't have a chance to get to know him much during the week thus far, but I knew he was from Sudan. And they've been encouraged and promoting and are broadcasting a Christian radio station in the midst of a very Islamic, spiritually dark environment there. Very spiritually dark. And so in the middle of Sudan is the Nuba Mountains, kind of divides the country. And that is where the war between Sudan and South Sudan has been going on for quite some time. So 10:30 Friday, he informs me that they're taking what we've been studying all week, and their hope is to go back and try to convene a table with the two warring sides in Sudan. And I looked at him, and at first I was just hyper elated that this is so cool. How in the world would I ever have an opportunity to do this? And then the frustration came through. I said, why didn't you tell me last month? I would have carved out a different track for you to take.
Yeah.
I was like, opportunity lost. But I'm told they're doing it. They're trying it.
That's awesome.
They're trying to set a table to do this. So what does that have to do with entrepreneurship or problem solving or Apprentice University or Bitwise? It's how do you bring your experience and skills and gifts and talents, like you said, give it away.
Yeah.
Give it away.
I think success is fulfillment as well. Like my definition of success has changed since, I was 18, just sort of getting involved in building things and solving problems and throwing mud at the wall. And I think some of the things that I look at that's successful now after going through and hitting milestones, high highs, lower lows, through this journey of entrepreneurship and just journey of life in general. It's like, I think success is relationships.
Yeah.
I think success is experiences, like intentional experiences. I think success is peace. And then fulfillment for me comes from, I love watching people win, and I love to watch people like in their excellence or develop into like their excellence. Yeah. Like a coach, I just have that. I love watching that, and to be a catalyst in it is one of the most rewarding things. So to learn with the intent to teach, that's kind of where my question goes, and maybe an entrepreneur or a leader could glean something from this. It's where, like, when you're wanting to learn something, where do you go and how do you Like, what's that look like, I guess, is when you're trying to develop programming, or you're
Yeah.
looking to solve problems or improve, or you're in counsel with someone, like, where do you go to learn?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Um, Lately, it's been ChatGPT or
AI.
some AI,
Yeah.
but not just what should I think. It's why should I think this?
Mm,
Give me what are the gears in this domain? For example, I struggle with uh, attention challenges because I am curious about so many things. I want to know more about everything I can think of. And so I really wrestle with that.
same.
Staying focused is super hard. So I'm really interested in this idea of energy communities.
Mm,
So new neighborhoods going in, let's just pre-wire it to share and both to contribute and use energy both within our community and then from our community back to the grid and so forth.
mm,
Every house can have a solar panel. Why wouldn't we do that? So I heard about this while I was in Europe. I studied a little bit. I met some people that are working on and thinking about energy communities. And this isn't about just being green. This is just about being smart.
right.
And so I want to see energy communities here in the US. I want to go build a community that works on energy communities, that the houses go in, and just like days of old, we put in telephone lines and now we put in fiber. And we run power to these homes. Why not make them bidirectional? Why not both give and take
Right.
to the neighborhood? And so the neighborhood can share in its own energy usage. And as solar technology gets better all the time, that becomes an easier and easier decision. So my research was, a friend of mine while I was in Vienna said, yeah, I'm working on energy communities. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm not going to.
Explain that.
Yeah. So just, give me a quick
Curiosity.
understanding. So I start researching it. I've written a little brief on it that's about a 5 or 6 page brief for a mayor. I won't say his name, where I live.
Shout out,
I
man.
don't want to put him on the spot.
That's fine.
But I'm hopelessly curious about this topic. So now I'm now at the level of, well, what technology goes in here and who makes that technology and where do you buy it? And would they be interested in a prototype here in the US? And so now I'm working past just the concept and I'm into some of the how.
Right.
And so what if you could what if you had a nuclear reactor in your backyard that was literally the size of a basketball that would power your house and a couple of your neighbors? I mean, that technology's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm told from and part of my research has shown, I'm not the guy on this subject, by the way, so I don't want to hold myself out on that here we are at 40 degrees north latitude, central Indiana. Solar panels are they're okay here. We don't have that much sun. But I'm told that by 2030, solar panel technology will be sufficiently reliable to be 45 degrees north latitude, which is from here, central Michigan. Well, we just picked up a huge swath of cities, if you think about it. Chicago, everything along the lakes, Toronto, Cleveland, New York. We just picked up a whole bunch of new cities if the solar technology could be that much more effective. So I'm geeking out on the topic, but to your question, what do you do when you're curious? I just start reading. I want to learn. I want to learn something new every day.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, and it's so accessible now. It's changed, right? Like you were building tech companies 20 years ago.
There was no tools.
That's
we didn't even have Google. There was no Google. Yeah.
People can think back, like what that may have looked like, and now compare it to today, where it's really just about your ability to ask the right question,
right,
and refine it and quality assure it.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you'd have to turn through books and physically go to a library and physically get in the paper and physically, it's interesting, like where things are at now. I think it's easier than ever, but also there's a lot of distractions too. Like along with, it's easy to get, sort of have to hurdle.
I love words.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to reduce your question about learning to 2 words. The first one is might.
Right.
How might we do this?
Yeah.
And so if you're working on something, I say, Tim, how might you do this? Instead of, Tim, you should. So I'm not going to,
How could
none
we?
of the UDs. None, we don't want to use UDs. UDs are not really welcome in innovation. They should just be boxed up and sealed. So we don't want to use the UDs. We want to use might, because might means we're going to try. We're going to consider. And might also implies we're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. We want to fail because with failure, we can learn. So might, and one of my other favorite words around innovation is else.
Mm.
What else might this do? Who
Mm.
else might we serve? What else am I missing? What else don't I know?
Yeah, I love that.
So might and else, I think if you can just sink your teeth into those 2 words as an entrepreneur, what might we do for our customers instead of we could, we can, we will?
Mm.
Well, those are okay, but not when you're exploring, not when you're trying to ferret out new ideas and innovate. It's might and else. They're the best 2 words around.
I love that. And it's a simple way that, as you are curious about something, and hopefully you have an aggressive curiosity about that thing, that you can go to AI, you can go to Google, you can physically go and meet people when you find those resources that are in that niche. You talked about that. Asking questions curiously that arise as you're doing these motions, as you're going through these things, these questions that should be might or else related throughout the process of gathering intel with the intent to share it for your overall overarching goal that you vision. And vision is such a, we could spend probably a whole podcast talking about
for sure, or many.
This ability to imagine something before it exists. And for listeners that are listening to this, wherever you're at, whether you're touching a steering wheel or you're sitting at your desk or wherever you may be, if you look around your space, everything started as a thought.
Absolutely.
Everything around us, these microphones, the pen, the paper, our
clothing. Right.
Everything started as somebody's curious thought or an improvement, an idea. So I think part of giving yourself permission is to realize that everything started as a conceptual thought.
Yes.
That's been built around you, and it will continue to be that way. And you can get involved in that. So thank you for sharing some of the recipes to doing that.
Sure.
My biggest hope is that people would start to believe in themselves greatly and give themselves permission to be aggressively curious. Yeah. And use those little tools, those little might and else tools. It's a fun thought to think about the ripples of this.
Right.
Just us getting together and sharing the waves. What's
really interesting is walking inspires innovation.
Yeah.
A walk.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at Taylor University 2 years ago teaching an innovation and entrepreneurship courses. And in my class, we were going to go execute opportunity finding. So I've been teaching, talking about it, not lecturing, but prepping for it. And I said, today we're going to go on a walk around campus, and everybody, here's a clipboard, get teams of 2. We're going to walk around campus and we're going to find opportunities. What kind of opportunities? I'm not going to limit it. Yeah. We step outside the building, and outside the building, there's a crosswalk that goes over to the bookstore from where we were. And the crosswalk paint, like most crosswalks, it's faded, it's dirty, it's chipped, it's been hit by snow plows, It's worn out. You can see the picture. And so I just asked the question, how might we make crosswalks use translucent, energy-absorbing paint? So during the day, they're vibrant, and at night, they really stand out. So if you're driving up to it, you could see it. You don't need flashing lights, and you could see people walking on it because it's so vibrant. Oh. Yeah. And so we did that for an hour. We just walked around campus.
Can you do me a favor and take that walk down to the State House and take that walk down?
No.
To the government.
It's such an opportunity-rich
Maybe
environment,
the DMV. Man. Where else can we take that
walk?
Oh,
it's fish in a barrel down there, man. It's too much.
But no, I love that exercise. One, the actual exercise, physically walking and moving physiologically, your body and blood flow, but then also the exercise of and I'm not professional in the sense. What sucks? How do we make it not suck? It's just the simple way that I remember it. Okay, this is not efficient. This stinks. How do we make this awesome?
Yeah, and if you do it with a buddy, you kind of eliminate, or you reduce the influence of what's called inattentional blindness, if you're familiar with the term.
No.
And this is where opportunities live, by the way. This is where discovering new opportunities, this is the secret sauce. If we want to, we've made people wait this far to get into it, so we'll give us the secret sauce. So quick summary, inattentional blindness. I'll just give you a quick example. We painted a bedroom, and of course, we've got one more half coat on one wall, and I need that much paint, right? I need one more roller full, and I'm done. And the paint can's dry. I'm like, I got to go buy a whole new gallon. So it's not all bad because we're going to paint another bedroom. So we'll have it, in the next month or 3 years or whatever it takes to paint the room. So I take the can and wrap up my job, take the can and put it away. And so we're getting ready to go paint. I'm like, where? And I have a little place in my garage. It's cleaned up. It's organized. But I can't find the paint. I cannot for the life of me find the paint. So what had happened was when I was cleaning up from painting, I had inadvertently set that paint can behind the door to our hallway laundry room. Now that door's shut all the time, so we see it every day when we walk by. And it had been there for a year. I didn't see it for over a year.
Sure.
And so the inattentional blindness is not seeing that which is obviously right in front of you.
Yeah.
And so that's a quick example of what it means. But to have that acuity that this is not in the right place, this is out of order, or how might this be better? But having that observational skills in the aperture, your aperture of imagination sufficiently open to take in the light and ideas, that's where opportunities live.
I love that, and that can be trained.
Can be trained.
We talk about the reticular activating system, your RAS, which is it's in the front part of your brain. That this will make more sense for folks. When you bought your newest car and then you see it everywhere, where you never saw it before,
right? Sure,
right? Or you got a certain shirt and then you realize, oh, everyone has this.
Everybody has the same,
but
shirt,
it's always been there. It's just off your radar, which is your reticular activating system.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. I didn't know that.
So with development, whether it's affirmation, whether it's just focus. You want to focus on the thing that you want to attain or get to. What happens is you start tuning into conversations you didn't hear before.
Right.
It's now on your radar the same way when you bought that new car. You're in tune with what that conversation is, or interesting, like this person or this opportunity thing looks intriguing over here. So you can literally shift what you're concentrating on or what you're seeing, right? You can sort of take off your blinders or start really editing your blinders to the thing that you want to notice, or hear, or be a part of. And there's science that you can look up the RAS system and use ChatGPT to play around with it, see what you can come up with. What are the prompts? What are the things that you can start consuming as far as books and things if you know your outcome objective that you want to attain. So for instance, let's take your example, the energy, right?
Energy communities.
So what's happening, like I think through the process of innovation building, is that it's focused. You're sort of narrowing this thing and asking these questions. And when you go to the events, or when you're it's just you're gonna have it in your pocket, or more so in your head when you see these things. But taking it a step further, play with it, right? Like what else could I read about? What else could I sort of prompt myself with to really notice the car, quote unquote, if you will. So just a fun, maybe a strategy you could play with, because it's happening around you.
It is happening.
And really, I think some of the biggest things, at least for me, like when I was building stuff, it became less about the how. I got good at building the components and whatnot, and building a system that I knew was good, and I could test it with the market and knew how to throw mud fast and efficiently.
I like that. Yeah.
I was good at failing fast with enthusiasm for a low cost too. So I'm very risk adverse. I'll take risk, but I like to limit it as much as I can.
Of course.
Because I didn't have infinite gobs of money and all sorts of reasons. I don't want to fail too hard where it hurts too bad.
Right.
It's harder to get up.
Right.
But I think I don't know where I was going with that thought. I think at the end of the day, we all are paid in direct proportion to our ability to solve problems. And I think I just encourage people to go out and take those walks like you were talking about,
Yeah.
and start to just believe and ask questions.
Yeah.
And where I was getting to with that, it's more about, sometimes it's more about the who than the what. Who do I need to know? Who's already doing this in a way, or who else is passionate about this thing that I'm doing that I can get around to create that synergy or that collaboration or that more energy, right? Like around the subject. That's where I was getting to. So it's like the how is important, and getting a really great product that solves problems in the market, service that's great, a problem that's so good, or a product that's so good people are dumb to say no to it. Like that's important.
I like that. Yeah.
But the next phase is like distribution, getting it to market, getting it legs.
Right.
And that,
Right.
like a lot of that is who you're in
Exactly.
connection. And
Exactly.
even that is an exploration that you can use ChatGPT or Google or research like you described, and answering those questions of who might I need to know,
Right.
right?
Right.
Who might they know? Who might be connected to these folks?
Sure.
Thinking vertical, and then,
The
where
other,
else could I go?
yeah, exactly. The other fun game is if company A and company B had a baby,
Yeah,
what would it look like?
that's a fun one.
So if Dunkin' Donuts and
Pizza Hut.
well,
Sorry.
no, that's a
ADD
horrible
brain.
idea. If Dunkin' Donuts and the home builder down the road had a baby, what would that be?
Mm.
And your mind is not ready for that.
Construction,
You-
LLC.
Yeah, but your mind's not ready for those combinations. And so just play with something esoteric like that. I don't know, that'd be Dunkin' Donuts. But take Dunkin' Donuts and XYZ home builder. What if they had a baby?
Dunkin' Hammers.
Okay.
It's
But your
it's
mind's not
coffee and
ready.
the handle
Your
it.
mind's not ready for these crazy combinations, and it sounds goofy on the surface.
Right.
But when you start playing with that,
It's fun.
it becomes very tangible business ideas that really they're quick to substantiate.
It's a fun thought of like merging to
Yeah.
and imagining
Yeah.
like
Or
the baby.
so if
formula.
you play polygamy, say if there are 3 or 4 companies have babies. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I don't buy that. I'm not subscribing. But the point is, if company A and company B had a baby, what comes out? And you don't think about those things, but now you're telling your mind, hey, I need you to stop thinking business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I can drive from Westfield to Kokomo with my eyes closed. It does not take any work.
Right.
I've done it at least 100 million times.
Mm-hmm.
Not
100
kidding.
million and two.
But it doesn't take any effort. So make your brain do things that are different,
Yeah.
that are totally different, and do that on a walk.
Mm.
Do that. What if A and B had a baby on a walk, and then ask, well, how might we make them do that? What happens if that occurs? What else might they do?
Yeah.
And just keep playing. Every thought doesn't have to have an answer.
Right. I think people get held up on that too, Ron. I think
Absolutely.
a lot of folks, especially in academia, a lot of times it's like they need
don't
to
get
have
me
a,
down that trail.
you know what I mean?
No,
They
no.
need to have, it's like, no, man. And I'm seeing it now. My son's 7 and he
Yeah,
goes to,
right.
he goes to school and he brings back homework, and there's just like, I want him to learn how to, in the military, we say shut up and color. Like learn how to shut up and color. There's an important piece of that where you got to learn how to shut up and color, do what you're asked to do well, because you're in competition with you. I want to see you do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you got to execute and get it done. I want that for my kid. I want that for me, my friend, people, my world. I get it. But school in general, the way that it's set up is it's grading you on your ability to follow instruction. It's very good at that.
To get to the answer.
Yeah, to get to the, and there's an important piece to that at times, for sure.
Sure, of course.
But where we're
Multiplication tables,
lacking,
right?
where we're lacking a lot of times, and what I deeply want for my own kid and my friends, is to solve problems, get really good at seeing, like going on those walks. I want them to be able to think with empathy. I want them to be able to move through the world and deeply connect with people, but also like deeply care about how do I solve this, and the belief that, hey, it's funny, we had a conversation this morning. We're in Indiana. We may get 10 or 10,000 inches of snow. We don't know yet.
Right.
But it's like, hey, bud, you wanted to get this new watch. I got an idea. And I was like, what if we got the shovels out? Who are our neighbors? I get him thinking, who are our neighbors?
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's Mr. Buck. Mr. Buck's, he's kind of old, right?
How we
He's
serve
getting
them.
older.
Yeah. How might we serve Mr.
What could
Buck?
we do? Do you think he might be interested in like shoveling? Then he starts going, And then I just kind of sit and ask questions and take notes. 'Cause I
What
want
else
to
might
watch.
Mr. Buck need?
Yeah.
He needs French toast, so he's going to need that.
What would we charge him for? What would be reasonable for us to do
Sure.
that? So it's just been fun to enlist him into this, and he's hungry. He wants this, whatever, the Minecraft watch thing with the
Minecraft, oh my
flashlight on.
goodness. Are you kidding?
But it's like, and I, when we go out to the store, and my kids are just like any other kids. They want stuff. I was
Sure.
the same way. I don't tell them no. I say, you can have that. Do you have dollars now? Can you exchange for that now? Or no? Okay, well, what can we do? How do we? I don't want to tell you no. You can have anything. You can have anything. Let's go get it. But do you have dollars? Oh,
Yeah.
you want to use mine?
Oh yeah, now it's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do we earn it? How do we make it happen? I'd love to help you with that. Like, it's what I do, right? For my profession. It's what I've done for years. But it's like to watch those gears turn and we're getting better at it. A lot of times my wife and I, we're probably taking over too many tasks right now with cleaning up their breakfast and sort of
Right.
handling some of these things.
Right.
We're trying to get better at just being more so along the ride, right? So when we go travel, it's like, okay, what's next? What do we need next?
You read my mind, because I was yes. We own a motorhome. We've had it for many years, and we've traveled. We've been blessed to travel the country with our boys when they were little, and along many trips
Yeah.
for many years. And while we generally have a destination, Redwoods, Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Washington State, a turnaround point maybe is a better way to phrase it. The best part of the trip is getting there and coming back, is the journey itself. So if you think about education for a minute, typical education is get to the answer,
right,
as fast as you can. Well, likewise in innovation, the pressure to innovate, well, get the answer and let's move on. Well, the journey getting there is where the value is. The journey, take a family trip, take a family road trip. The journey is the family being together.
Yeah.
It's not the destination. That's great. That's wonderful. It's sort of icing on the cake. The real value is in the journey. So you think about your son, 7th grade, there multiplication tables, you just need to know those and just be done with that. But the journey is not, I got the answer right. Or the education is not, I got the answer right. The education is, why are you asking me that question? And why do I need to know that? And how might that help me? And how might I learn more about that topic? Yeah. Not, it's 6.
Right. Totally agree. And then during the frustration of getting to the number, dealing with the emotional uprisings effectively to still serve himself and the people around him. When pressure gets to you, how do we handle those? Have been the number one sort of like coaching moments that we've had recently. Is he gets annoyed, it's frustrated. He doesn't want to do these
very annoying. Yeah,
this work. It's work, and it's not. He wants to go do something
it's
else.
Repetitive. And
I'm like, man, I love that you don't like. I love that you're experiencing this turmoil right now. How do we handle stuff? How do we handle things that are tough? We lean in, don't we? Like, let me see you get strong for a minute. Let me see you put your helmet on and guard your mind. And just these wonderful moments that I'm thankful for, that I even recognize to help him handle emotion, we as men often miss that lesson for a long time. Big time. Regulating the big feelings.
Yes.
And like how to do it effectively. So that's something we've been working through, but,
how to learn versus what to learn.
Yes, that's huge.
That's the key for, I've been preaching that for a long time around Indiana, charter schools many years ago, and private schools and university I started, and other places I've taught, is I don't care what you're learning. I want to teach you how to learn it. I don't care what it is you're interested in. I mean, I care, but I want you to be passionate about it, and I want you to be concerned for and curious about how to learn it. Now, that changes every day. Tools are better than they were 5 years ago, et cetera. But it's not what to learn, it's how to learn. Where would we be if we had people who were worried about how to learn?
Yeah.
Not what to. I don't care about your
I want to retain this.
Facts and stats and quotes and, equations. And I mean, we have every equation ever created lives right here.
Yeah.
Why do we have to memorize it?
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, this is a while ago, we had to memorize the periodic table. And I remember asking the professor.
You probably use that every day.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that particular field, yeah, in material science.
Sure.
But I remember asking him, I said, why do we have to? It's on the wall. That's why it's on the wall.
Yeah.
Why don't we use something more, use more time more? Well, it's just, yeah, it's what we do.
It's good questions. And questions are good. And even questioning that, sometimes questions can get shunned and people feel inferior, and we can't edit ideas and share ideas constructively, right? Like towards growth and innovation. But I think, for my son Caden, he's a special kid, man. And I love that he's learning why to learn right now too. Like he's learning the basics, but why them? Like why have the foundational building blocks? He's also learning to play basketball right now too.
That's cool.
So it's relatable.
It's Indiana,
It's like, brother, you don't know how to dribble very well yet. This is why it's important. It's important to learn these fundamentals because they're the building blocks of what happens next. And more importantly, you're developing your character.
Yeah.
Are you somebody that's going to work hard and focus and want to be at your best in everything you do? Or do you want to just push this stuff to the side and, not give yourself a chance to really, develop the thing?
So I have a challenge for you. So your kid's 12, 13?
No, he's 7.
He's 7. I thought he's 7th grade. 7.
No,
Okay.
Little guy.
That's great. Okay. That's great. So play a game with him. Our conversation, we're only going to use questions. And just tell me how it goes sometime when you get a minute. Shoot me a text.
I'll just record it.
We're going to have a conversation, and we're only going to use questions and just watch where it goes.
Interesting. That'll be a fun one.
Lead a team, lead a project, and say, no statements, no facts, no sentences that end in a period or exclamation mark. Our sentences henceforth may only be in the form of a question.
That's awesome. That'll be a fun one. That'll be an interesting.
It is interesting where it goes.
Yeah. It'll be a good exercise for me too.
It's creative, yes.
Yeah.
And then do it while you're walking.
Yeah, take a walk too. So for those of us that are in Indiana and pending that, maybe they can walk on a treadmill. Maybe they could walk. It's like freezing cold this weekend, right?
Yeah, it's 5 degrees outside right now.
So good luck, Indiana, pending this.
Yes.
Quick, again, shout out to Vision Studio and our SBDC for making this possible.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is great.
So glad that you came. I can't wait to introduce you to the team here. And
I'm excited to meet them.
Also, thanks for making the drive.
Sure.
Be safe this weekend. And real quick, where can people connect with you again? Just go ahead and say it one more time. Actually, time out. Let's do this.
Sure.
If I'd like to ask who are you actively looking to connect with? Now, I know we talked about the energy stuff. I know you're doing things in innovation and schooling.
Yeah.
Who are some folks that, like, whether it's a title that they may have or just folks out there in the interwebs, like who are you wanting to meet over the next 6 months or so?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Business executives who want to put action behind a commonly found value statement in their values that's labeled innovation.
Perfect.
I meet so many businesses where innovation is striped in as about number 5 or 7 on their values. And I ask the question, how are you propagating that? Well,
there's an actual system.
Yeah. Let's put something in place. Let's bring an innovation school, like we mentioned a minute ago. Let's bring innovation school to your organization so that your team thinks like an owner all the time. Yeah. Not because you've pressured them to doing it, because they see the benefit to everybody around them and themselves by doing so. So let's help them have more acuity. Let's help them have better conversations. Let's help them solve problems faster and see opportunities quicker and not have inattentional blindness, because that's the way we've always done it. So those are the executives that I want to talk to. Those are the people that I want to work with.
I got a couple companies that are flying through my head right now that literally the name of their company is Innovative X. Fill in the blank. There's several companies.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That could probably introduce you to. But thanks again, Ron.
My
One
pleasure.
last time, where can folks find you? I know you're on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Ron at Brumbarger.com. My business domain is Strunova, struinova.com. That's Latin-ish for build new.
That's cool.
The operative term being ish. Or you can hit me on my cell at 317-490-4376.
Man, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming down.
Absolutely. Yeah, my pleasure, buddy. Good to see you.